In 1856, Mother Joseph and 4 other Sisters of Providence, after an arduous journey from Montreal, stepped off the boat in Vancouver, Washington, into a new world, constantly changing. In those early days, the sisters were challenged to create new ministries to meet the needs of those living in the Pacific Northwest. The sisters opened schools, orphanages, and hospitals in rapidly expanding communities. Mother Joseph herself played a key role in designing the first and second St. Vincent hospitals in Portland. The newest one, which opened in 1895, was located on Westover Road in northwest Portland. It was a beautiful place.
The old hospital, it had a few nuances that were sort of romantic. When you were scrubbing in, you could look out over the city, out through the windows. You could see Mount Hood on a clear day.
Those who worked there developed strong emotional attachments to this turn-of-the-century hospital. It was well loved by patients, visitors, and caregivers.
It's home. It's where you work. It's a place you're comfortable.
I was at home at the old St. B. I really felt at home. It was just a good place to be.
By the mid-20th century, though, that home was not always meeting the sisters' standard of excellence in caregiving. The practice of medicine was changing dramatically. A hospital designed for the late 1800s did not meet patient expectations in the 1960s.
Having patients congregated together, 6 in a room, really diminished the privacy for the patient and made it very difficult for the physician to communicate with the patient as well as the nursing staff.
The hospital, because of all of the new procedures, needed new equipment, new rooms bigger than what we had in surgery and every place else.
St. Vincent faced a crossroads. Its leaders needed to do something to assure the hospital of the future met the needs of its patients while respecting the values of all its doctors and nurses. An architectural firm strongly recommended relocating the hospital, saying it would be much less expensive to build a new hospital elsewhere than remodel or tear down and rebuild on the current site.
We had no choice. That was an antiquated, cramped, small hospital with no room for growth. I mean, no room for growth.
The question then became where to grow next.
Where do people need a hospital? Not where do we want to go?
You know, when you look at Sister Rita, what she did was basically put the community in the center of the decision making and in the center of the rationale on why we were moving to the hospital, which is exactly what we should be doing.
Sister Rita, like Mother Joseph, was focused on responding to the changing needs of new communities. Demographic studies found Portland had plenty of hospitals within the city limits. Since major population growth was clearly underway west of Portland, the search for property led to the purchase of a 33-acre site on Barnes Road in Washington County.
The move to this area out here wasn't done, by flipping a coin. Think about 3 years spent in doing the impact study of where the population was going.
And it seemed like it was such a long way. On the top of the Burnside Hill was the end of Portland.
Some critics of the move didn't like the image of a hospital in the country.
That was an era when doctors had their offices downtown. So there were people who wanted to, let's stay down here and be downtown big-time doctors.
Just hold it a minute, I want to listen and check your chest here.
This innovative idea of locating a hospital in the direction the community was growing is part of the heritage of risk-taking by the Sisters of Providence. The decision, however, did bring values into conflict. Many employees, doctors, and nurses wanted to remain in Northwest Portland and serve their patients there, while other staff, who valued excellence in patient care and meeting the needs of a growing community, embraced the vision to move west. With the property purchase, new challenges arose. As Mother Joseph had observed, beginnings are always difficult. First, a realistic budget was proposed so construction of the new hospital could be financed. A mock-up of a patient room at the new St. Vincent helped rally support for the Washington County site. Sister Rita would be the first to say that no one person held the reins of leadership. The St. Vincent Advisory Board, comprised of business leaders in Oregon, provided their expertise, influence, and long hours throughout the design and construction phases to win approval for the hospital. Through those difficult years, Sister Rita demonstrated exceptional leadership.
There was controversy, but she was very strong. She listened well. It was going to happen, and there just was no doubt about it.
She sure had the glue to hold that group together.
The medical staff became an essential partner in this process, and one of the physicians stepped up to play a key role.
The administration had gotten together and picked one of the surgeons who had specialty training in engineering, Ugo Raglione.
It had gotten to the point where it's a continuous struggle to keep going, and to keep it going in the foreseeable future with our needs was not feasible.
He had an extremely primary role in the architecture of the institution and the details that were required.
He had a lot of ideas that he would come and talk about and suggest, and he's, has a good relationship with the medical staff, which we need to have, but thanks be to God for him.
At long last, the date for the move arrived, January 31st, 1971.
Any problems, just ask us.
Staff planned every detail of the move to assure patients received the highest level of service and care. U.S. Army buses and private ambulances transported patients west to the new hospital. Moving day was and is seared into the memory of everyone involved.
The move was surprisingly smooth, despite all the naysaying.
As time went by, excitement replaced pessimism. Critics became believers.
This is Sister Mary Lorene, your administrator, welcoming you to our new St. Vincent Hospital.
It was like a miracle coming here to the new hospital.
So clean and shiny and modern. We were so excited to have all that new equipment.
At last, a proper 20th century hospital. And we were at sort of the cutting edge of that.
It is a beautiful day.
This idea of responding to the signs of the times and reaching out into the community and serving in new ways were all ways in which Sister Rita fulfilled the mission in the past. But she knew that we needed to be here for our community, not just today, but 100 years, 200 years into the future.
Now, more than 40 years after the move, Sister Rita and Dr. Raglione agree it was the right thing to do.
We've made our decisions, and we've done it with a lot of other people, and I think it's the right thing, and so I just hung on to it.
We did it, but we did it knowingly, intelligently, and as a group.
It built my faith. I had if I hadn't had faith, I don't know where I'd have gone. Today has turned out good. The result of it is good. We just had to go through the hard part.
The result was good. Carrying on the heritage of the Sisters of Providence, employees of the new St. Vincent provided compassionate care along with the latest in technology to live the mission. The visionaries had proved once again that you can build a first-rate hospital outside the city. Providence St. Vincent continues to be a thriving medical center which remains faithful to its values while responding to changing times.